Okay, I think we're live. All right, welcome everybody. Come on in. So good to see you guys. Love having people come into the Instagram live. Hey doll, hey bear. Really great to see you guys. Love the people who have been coming back either for these or for the Kellogg networking for introverts that I did yesterday, or some of the Instagram lives. So hello everybody, great to see you guys. I'm wearing my sleigh shirt kind of as a joke, because really what this Instagram little chat is going to be all about is, look, some days we actually don't feel like we can slay. I mean, honestly, those are most days for me. I think there's this real misperception that so many of us, me included, and maybe a lot of you, just like wake up like ready to go. I mean, honestly, you guys, who wakes up that way? I mean, do you? I don't. Okay, I really don't. And yet, there are ways, and I'm going to help share so many of the strategies. Some of them are mental, some of them are real, logistical, that help me every single day wake up and slay. I mean, I don't always slay, but look, I give it a good shot. I do my best, and hopefully a lot of the times it works. So I also want to make sure that I'm answering your questions. So please, please put it into the questions. It's way easier for me than monitoring this feed. Hey Bonfire, hey Amanda, love seeing you guys here. So let me start at the top as people are coming in, and then we can kind of work our way into the questions. So please load them in there, and I'll start to click on them in about 5 minutes. So here's where I start. These are moments in time, not just during COVID-19, but I think a lot of days. It seems that we're in a world that requires a lot of energy, that there's this new standard. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's because we watch people and it just seems that we need to be on, okay? That being on is like the norm. And I'm here to tell you that being on and being vibrant and being like energetic are not the same thing. That there are strategies that you can use for actually being confident, owning the room, and showing up even on those days where you just feel like you're dragging. I mean, do you guys relate to that? Do you guys relate to it? I feel like there are a couple of you here, I'm not going to name you by name, but I know you're dragging a little bit right now because you told me you were earlier today. So this is for you. All right, so I start at the top there, and here's what I think matters a lot. You have to take some of the weight off of your shoulders, which means the following. You are not the only one who feels this way. Trust me, that anytime you go into a meeting where there are a lot of people there and the stakes feel really high, and you walk into the room or you get on Zoom and there are a lot of people there, if you're dragging, other people are too. And it's the first mindset shift that you have to have, that you are not alone. Even if there's somebody on there who looks amazing and feels like they have their shit together, trust me, there are other people in that room who don't have their shit together and wish they were not there. Look around, you will find them. Maybe we need like some sort of like code, like a sort of code for people who like are not ready to slay, but are feeling like they're under pressure to slay that day. We need like a hand gesture to like say to each other, I got you, I see you. You help me, I'll help you. Okay? If somebody can think of that, then I think we have to come up with that to help each other. So that's the first thing. Recognize that you are not alone, that so many of us, not just now, but a lot of the time, wake up, not just in the morning, but walk into settings where we don't feel like we've got our shit together. So that's just a mindset shift, okay? Next thing. Take yourself through this exercise. All right, this is for real. What is at stake right now? Is it your reputation? Is it the company's reputation? Is it your ego? Like, ask yourself actually what's at stake, because sometimes we get ourselves like really hyped up as if like everything that day matters the same. Not everything matters the same amount. And yet we seem to somehow be putting all of this energy into everything we do as if everything we do matters just as much all day long. That is not true. We have to be much better at sort of sorting through our days and figuring out that matters, that does not as much. This matters, that doesn't. I am very bad at this. I am just telling you guys that I am very, very bad at this. Hi, Ted. So great to see you. Hey, buddy. Thanks for that thumbs up. Not everything matters the same, you guys. And I want you to understand this for real. You need to know what matters most because that's where your energy should go. Okay? We get the things that we want. So you have to know what you want. What do you want today? Where do you want to show up? Where do you want your confidence to shine? So you have to figure it out because not everything requires the same amount of you. And if you put yourself on that kind of a standard that everything you do all day long requires you to slay, okay, you're just going to die at the end of the day. Be like Game of Thrones all day long. Heads are rolling. That'll be yours. Okay, so we're not doing that. So know where you need to actually bring it. Second check-in. What part of you needs to show up? Because this is for real too. Not every part of you needs to show up. Do you need to be present and be a really good listener? Do you need to be the moderator of whatever the setting is? Do you need to be like the striker? Joey, see how I used, and Kate, that soccer analogy? Do you need to be the striker? Like, do you need to be the one taking it to the goal? Figure out what your role needs to be because, again, I'm trying to get you guys to think about confidence as something that is actually pretty specific and pretty narrow and something you can really hone in on in order to be able to focus your energy on those days when you feel drained. So ask yourself, like, is my highest and best use right now my questions, my facilitation skills, my presentation skills, or maybe it's just that I'm here to really have really good nonverbal communication and just be really present? I think if we sort through ourselves and just go, look, I don't have to be all things to all people in this moment, we'd calm down a whole lot. Is any of this resonating? Are you with me, you guys? Because honestly, I don't want anyone to think that any of this is easy. That anything is easy. Not today, not ever. And if you see people who are on all day long and they look like they have it together, here's what they've done. And here's what I do. And here's what you need to do too. They prepare a whole lot. They prepare a whole lot. Mentally, physically, they've prepared. That process is draining too. And so I'm trying to give you the tools of preparation. And you are putting your questions in the question box. All right? So let's recap. Part 1, recognizing that you're not alone. That's the first thing I said. You're not alone. This shirt is just like, you should be laughing, okay? You're not alone. Not everybody comes to slay. And if they do, that's because they've worked really hard to be there. Part 2, make contact. Find your people. Know that you need the support because you cannot do this alone. Part 3, ask yourself in a given moment or a given day, where do I really need to show up with confidence? Because it cannot be from 9 to 5. So where does it really matter? And then finally, part 4, we're going to keep moving on, guys, but part 4 is, which part of this meeting or this presentation or this Instagram Live really matters the most? So even for this, did I prepare for this? Yeah, because I really care about you guys. I've got my Bonfire people on here, my Kellogg people on here, my friends, Honda Zelig is on here now, my young people, Julia Porter, my daughter, my friends, like, I really care about you guys. And if you're going to spend time with me, then hell yeah, I prepared for you because I want to make sure I leave you with something of value. That said, did I take a break today to make sure that like my head was clear for you guys? I did. I cannot be on all day long. None of us can be on all day long. All right. So now I'm going to get to some like really good hacks. Are we ready for that? We ready for some hacks? All right, here's what we got to do. There are really 4 different kinds of things that express confidence in the world. And it's so weird how we just like know if somebody's confident. It's like this affect, right? It's like something where you're just like, oh, they're so confident. But if you really stared at them, I mean, honestly, what is it? What is it? Tell me in the words, go into the little comments. What is it actually that makes somebody confident? Can you put your finger on it? Because it's actually sometimes an unusual quality. It's not really what they wear. It's not really what they say. It's not the words that come out of their mouth. What is it? It's usually pretty much one thing. Tonality, that's interesting. But it really, if you boil it all down and boil it all down and boil it all down, what is it? Posture, that's good. This is all part of it, right? But if you really boil it down, Liz is close to it. They're just feeling really authentic and comfortable with themselves. That's where confidence comes from. It comes from this inner sense of, I know who I am. I know I am here. By the way, I know what is not mine to do in this room. I know what I'm here to do, and I know what I am not here to do. And I actually know how to locate myself in this room. That is the source of confidence. It is the source of it, which means you need to be able for yourself to create that narrative every time you walk in a room. What are you here to do? Are you here to actually entertain, to ask great questions, to show up with something new? Are you here to be the disruptor, the innovator? What are you here to do? Ask yourself that. And once you know your role in the room, you can really put your shoulders down. Okay? Now I'm going to give you another little trick. There are days that I really, really am not okay. I actually just don't feel like I can really be on that day. Even though like I've got a thing. Like yesterday, I had like a thing. Like I had like 400 people or whatever on some Kellogg like webinar. There are days when I don't feel okay, but I've got a thing. It is okay to say out loud to whomever the audience is, because trust me, they will appreciate it. You know what? I'm struggling to be here. I am so glad that you guys are here and with me, and I'm going to ask for your help today, but I am just letting you know I prepared, I'm going to deliver, but I am going to be working very hard. And sometimes I make little jokes, like truly last night, for those of you who are on the webinar, I literally was like calling out names of people to make sure they were like nodding their heads and giving me positive reinforcement because it was helpful to me, okay? I was like calling them out by name and I was like, yes, I need some head nodders. I need some people giving me some energy, okay? Because I was literally fucking exhausted. So you can ask for the help when you need it. And show some vulnerability. I know that it seems like counterintuitive, like why would showing vulnerability express confidence? Hell yeah, it does. You have to actually be able to have a sense of who you are in order to express that kind of vulnerability. So that's what you have to do. Okay, I'm going to go through 4 quick things and then I actually want to take some of your questions, okay? All right, here we go. These are the sort of steps. Like if I were going to walk into a room and like didn't feel my best, but like these were the things that I had to do to show up and exude some sense of like, I came to slay, all right? The first thing, I never walk into a room with that like rush sense of like, oh my God, I'm flipping out. I will either take time alone or I call Rachel, I phone a friend to calm me down, okay? You cannot walk into a room and calm yourself down in real time in front of people. Not okay. Take the moment. Step outside, go to the bathroom, or phone a friend. So step 1, you've got to calm yourself down. Whether it's the deep breathing, I find that for me, my language of calm is words. Like I know a lot of people don't like it, like if they're getting a massage, to like have somebody talk to them. Like, do you guys hate that? I know, but weirdly, like, I like it when I'm getting a massage. Like, for the first 10 or 15 minutes, I'd like somebody to talk to me. Because for me, calming down is words. Like, I can only do guided meditation. I need words coming through my head. Words calm me down. So whatever your calm is, music, words, silence, calm yourself the fuck down. You cannot do it in the room. I'm swearing a lot. My kids are on this. It's okay. They're over 18. It's not like I have like children on this. I know you think I'm a bad parent, but I'm like a really good parent, which is why their friends are on this too. Right, guys? Okay, shall we continue? That's number one. Number two, body language. Somebody said it earlier. Absolutely. There is a lot of like, yes, I know who I am and I'm going to have my shit together in the room, but I'm also going to actually sit in a way that shows that I'm here and I'm present. And there is a mind-body connection, so you have to be able to do that. Shoulders back, down. Do you know what part of your body people are going to be looking at the most? Okay? You're wrong if you think it's your face. I know my students in my class know what it is. It's not your face. It's not your upper body. Weirdly, when people first meet you, they're going to look at your hands. That is where they're going to look. It's like an anthropological thing. Like, am I safe? Do they have a knife? Do they have a club? Okay, that's weirdly where they're going to look. Lower body matters. And lower body is where our posture lives. So get yourself together. Be comfortable. It's going to be part of your confidence. Okay? Next thing. See, I'm looking down because I've got notes. Because I prepared for you guys, because I care. Next thing, take a stance of generosity. I say this a lot in my class. I say it to the Bonfire Women. I say it at Kellogg. You actually have to feel that you are going to give in the room and not be transactional. Being transactional is stressful. Like, if you think that your goal in a room is going to have to be to like get something done, close that deal, make that sale, do that pitch well, make somebody like you, get the second date. Whatever you think the transactional close thing is, and let me tell you this, I'm a freaking good closer. I'm a really good closer. I don't think about it that way. I think about it this way. What am I going to do to ensure that as many people in this room as possible feel great as a result of me having been in this room? That is a stance of generosity, and it feels so much better to me. It gives me more confidence rather than me feeling like, okay, what's next? Do I have to say this next thing so that then we can move like from here to there to there to there? Oh my God, now I'm like, my heart is beating. I'm seriously stressed. So body language, mindset, lower body, don't be carrying a club or any weapons. Know what's yours to do in the room. Take a stance of generosity. Forget transaction. And I'm going to start to take your questions. They better be going into that question box, okay? But I really want to just be sharing with you guys this meta theme, and then I'm going to take your questions, okay? The meta theme I want to be sharing with you here is, there are things that are absolutely within your control to do, and they are only yours to do. That's the crazy thing. It's like so often we think that the reason that we can't be confident is this thing occurred, that event occurred, this person's in the room, that didn't go well, my alarm didn't go off. We have a whole list of things that have knocked us down. And I'm telling you that the things that actually should be giving us confidence are the things that come from the inside out. They're all in our control. They really are in our control. And they're all so simple to do. But they take practice and discipline. I think actually, you guys, I just realized that. That's like the one thing that I feel like is very like on brand for me. This is where I come to slay. Discipline. I'm really freaking disciplined. That is the thing that I think I own more than anything else. And it's the thing that actually reassures me that, like, even if I feel like I've got a really overwhelming like task ahead of me, that I will figure it out because I'm disciplined. I'm disciplined. I know you guys are saying questions in here. Please go into the questions because I'm starting to answer them now. See that little question box down there? Okay, here we go. Into the question box I go. Okay, let's answer this just now. Okay, I'm going to answer this question. How should you react to comments like, oh, you look tired today, and oh, you look like you need coffee? Oh, I love this question so much. I would respond to something like that with humor. It's a great question. I really would say something like answer that with humor. I would go like, oh my God, do I? Really, do I look that way? And especially if it were like, I'm sorry for the men on here. There's so many men on here that I love on this feed. But I really, like if it were a guy, I would really say like, man, you do too. Buddy, what happened this morning? Okay. But if somebody says something like that to you, there's two ways to go: humor and vulnerability. And by the way, like not defensiveness does you no good. Maybe you really are tired, so own it. But even if you're not tired, then use humor. You're like, yeah, I mean, hopefully I have some concealer in my purse. I usually carry some. Let's get to it. Can you just cover me for a minute while I go put some on? Honestly, just own it. I find humor and self-deprecating humor goes a long way. I just do. And by the way, that's not to like make me feel like I'm not upset that they said that. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, are you trying to make me feel bad? Because you didn't. You really didn't. Let's just play. Let's just be playful then, if you're going to go there. Okay, next one. Let's go into the questions. Hopefully you're putting your stuff in the questions. Next one. Okay, my son is all in here. Okay, this is such a good question, Joey. Thank you. What is your definition of slay on a daily basis? That is a great question. So here's what I think about when I say slay. So what I think about is this. I am really like very driven. Like I'm really driven. So I like to know that anything I am going to suggest is high stakes for me, that I feel like I nailed that thing. Again, being selective about what matters and what doesn't. Like here's a good example, Joey, and all of you. So tonight, I made some pizza dough yesterday. I really like to cook. I pride myself on it. It does not look like it's rising. I'm kind of upset about it. And I really pride myself on like when I cook really well. That is not a high stakes thing right now. I'm not stressed about it. If I don't nail the pizza tonight, I'm okay. But did I come to slay today at Bonfire when we had a 5-hour event for our women? Hell yeah, I did. So for me, it's like, did I come prepared for the high stakes thing? Did I train for it? Did I work for it? Did I show up with the right mindset? Am I sitting in the right way? Do I have my notes? Am I prepared? Did I have the discipline to know that mattered, that didn't? Okay, that's what I mean by slay. Brilliant question from the Peanut Gallery. I agree. Okay, let's go in. More questions, guys. Okay, let's go to this one. Good question. What should I do with my hands that looks natural and exudes confidence? Are hands and pockets okay? Great question. So here's the thing, guys. First of all, in the world of Zoom, hands is so bizarre because like, honestly, normally you wouldn't see my hands, but I have to put them up because like the world of Zoom forces us into like this little weird box, right? I think you have to find a stance that is your normal stance, but that animates your hands. So are hands in pockets okay? Sure, if you're standing for a few minutes, but not for longer than that, okay? So you actually do have to be moving your hands around a little bit. Hands are generally supposed to have an open feeling to them. Not so open that it's like you think you're on stage, but really you're just talking to one person, and that's weird, okay? But I do think that hands, especially in the world of Zoom, should be seen. And I'm telling you, weirdly, it's an anthropological thing that people feel safer when they see your hands. That's why they shouldn't stay in your pockets so long. So find a stance that's comfortable for you. And by the way, that power stance, yeah, don't hold that too long. It's like a weird thing. I don't know why people do that. Okay, going back into your questions, let's take a couple more. Okay, Julia. How do you make sure to send cues that you're present now that so many meetings are online? I mean, isn't this the question of the hour, Julia? Isn't this the question of the hour, you guys? So here's the thing. This is so hard to do. It's so hard to do. First of all, you must look into the camera. If you like right now, I could be looking at myself. It would be tempting. Not because like I like looking at myself, but like that's our natural inclination. But if I did that, I wouldn't be looking at you guys. So being present really is looking at the camera on Zoom, especially if you're in gallery view and there's only 2 or 3 of you. So that's one thing. The second thing is please do use your nonverbal communication. I know class is winding down for a lot of you if you're in class. Well, if you're Kellogg students, we've still got like 4 more weeks, but college students. But if you guys are in meetings, trust me, the person speaking wants to see you nodding, wants to see you smiling. Do you know the weirdest realization I came to? Are there any students in here who are in my class, like in my regular Selling Yourself and Your Ideas class? I think you guys are in here. If you are, either wave or put your thing up. If you're in my regular Tuesday class where I have 70 students every Tuesday, I came to this realization in real time. It was the weirdest thing. I realized, oh, hello, Archie, you're in there. Okay, Archie is in there. So was the weirdest real-time realization that right now, if you're somebody running a meeting and everybody's on mute, or you're teaching a class and everybody's on mute, or you're giving a webinar and everybody's on mute, which is the norm, you can't hear people's reactions. Even now, it's like if I say something and you think it's funny, I can't hear you laugh. If I say something and you're offended, I can't hear your like little intake of breath. Not hearing people's reactions is the weirdest thing about this moment. I forgot how the silence chips away at our confidence. It is so strange that I hadn't focused on that. So what I'm telling you guys to do is to please be generous in the room, wherever you are. Show you're present by being present. Actually look at the camera. Actually nod your head. Actually act like you are in the room as if the person were there. Responding. It's so generous. Please do that. Thank you for that question, Julia. Okay, we have time maybe for one more. Okay, my daughter-in-law, Alexa. I know it's like a family fest in here, which I love. Daughter-in-law, Alexa. Okay. Hey, Juan. Okay, this is also what I love about Instagram is it's like a true global reunion of my friends, my family, my students from around the world who I don't get to see, but hello, all of you. I hope you're doing great. Rosie! I mean, honestly, this is really like a thrill for me to see all of you guys on here. But let's get to Alexa's question. Any tips and tricks to slay on Zoom meetings? Any major do-nots? Oh my God, let's get to the do-nots, you guys. And I'm going to stay in the realm of like confidence right now, okay? I have so many of them. I really don't like, if you are on Zoom, either decide your video's on or it's off. Like the thing about like moving your video on and off and on and off and on and off, like I do not understand. You're in the meeting or you're not in the meeting. You're with me or you're not with me. I mean, unless it's like a 4-hour meeting, you need to get up to go to the bathroom, like, okay. But please do not like put it on and turn it off and turn it on and turn it off. Like that is literally the equivalent of leaving the room and coming in and leaving the room and coming in. I do not understand that. So please don't do that. Next thing, I had to learn this the hard way. It is so weird how only one person can speak at a time. So therefore, a couple things need to happen. Number one, if you need to get in on the conversation, you need to make sure that people know that. So whatever feature is being used, if you want to show up in the meeting and be confident in the meeting, use that feature or use your body language. If the instructor or the person running the meeting is good at what they're doing, they should be watching the faces. And you should raise your hand. Literally, in my own staff meetings where like I'm the boss, I raise my hand. I like use every feature. I'm like, I'm getting my question heard no matter what. I will use the hand raise feature. I will use my hand to raise my hand. And if nobody's calling on me, then I will take myself off a fucking mute and go on there. I'm getting my question answered. Are those really like good things to tell you if you're like a super junior employee and like your CEO of a huge company is running the meeting? Probably not. But I'm just talking about in an average like turn of the day, and you're on a meeting and there's 8 people. Be present, use the tools, act like you're in a freaking normal meeting, people. Really, that's the best thing to do. Act like you're there. Speak up. Okay, any other questions that are burning and pressing? It is 5:30. I adore you all. I'm so glad that you showed up here. Thank you for coming. I will put this back on my story. And let's just recap super quick, which I always do, the big takeaways from this Instagram feed. So number 1, you are not alone. If you're feeling tired right now, if you're feeling like you did not come here to slay, you wanted to, but it was hard, you're not alone. Number 2, it is very easy to think that everything is high stakes. Not everything is high stakes. So go through your day and really figure it out. What matters, what doesn't? Where do you need to put your energy so that really you get the outcomes that you need? That's where you should be driving your energy. Number 3, confidence is in your court to drive more than you think it is. It's the little things. It's the mindset. It's the posture. It's the eye contact. It's the feeling of calm. It's being present. It's knowing what is yours to do in the room. Those are all things that are internal to you, not external to somebody else giving you permission to be confident. Those come from the inside out. So hopefully these little tips and thoughts are helpful to you. Know that you are not the person who needs to be on all the time or perfect all the time. Oftentimes our confidence comes from being vulnerable and real and letting other people know that, you know what, you wanted to come to Slay, which is why you put this shirt on.